Okay, so like I said, this is for new teacher training. This is WriteToLearn. And if you ever need to get a hold of me, if you have any questions at all, here's my contact information. So there's my phone number and my email address. Contact me if you need anything at all. And I'll put this up at the end too. Alright, and what today will look like, I am going to give a background on WriteToLearn. Then I will talk about the state requirements. And then I will do a demo, or we'll do a demo of WriteToLearn so you can see what it looks like for the students and what it will look like for you. And then we'll talk a little bit about some troubleshooting options. And then maybe a little bit of ideas for the classroom, ways that you can incorporate it into your classroom. And there are a couple of additional resources. And then at the end, if there are still questions, we'll answer any questions you have. Alright, so first off, a background. The state of South Dakota requires that 5th, 7th, and 10th graders are tested on their writing skills. And the program that we use for this is WriteToLearn. So the Department of Education administers writing assessment through WriteToLearn program. So what happens is, teachers, you'll choose 2 different essay prompts you want your students to write to. Your students will log in, write 2 different essays, and then click Get Feedback. And once they do that, it'll give them immediate feedback on their writing, how they did, which we'll show you. And we at the state, we don't actually look at the data, but it's just participation only, so you don't have to worry about that. And which leads me into the next slide. So it's all grades 5, 7, 10, and students need to write to 2 different essay prompts. So they can write one, and then they can edit it as many times as they can edit it up to like 6 times. But you set how many times they have, because they can fix their essays once they get their feedback based on the feedback. But they have to do this to 2 different essays in order for it to count. And your students will have any time between today and April 30th to get this done. So anytime in that time, if they just write 2 essays, they fulfill our requirements. And just to let you know, in the program there are also summary writing prompts, and those, we do not count those towards the 2 essay prompts, but you can use them as many times as you want. The minimum is just that you or your students write 2 different essays to 2 different essay prompts, but your students can use the program as much as you want them to. They can write to as many essay prompts and as many summary prompts as you want them to. And sorry, I don't know what's up with this slide. It's just crazy. I've tried fixing it, it will not fix. But pretty much what it's saying is, if you have alternate students or students that take the Dakota Step alternate test, there is an alternate writing assessment for them as well. And you can see the website on it right there. It's doe.sd.gov/alt/altassessment.aspx. And that will give all the information about the alternate writing assessment. And the contact person for this is Michelle Martin. Her email is michelle.martin@state.sd.us. So if you have any questions at all about this, contact her. And pretty much what you need to do is just follow the student's IEP. If on their IEP it says that they can use WriteToLearn, have them do it. And just note that no accommodation in WriteToLearn invalidates a submission. So no matter how many accommodations you do for the students in WriteToLearn, we will still count that essay submission. And just so you know, also the alternate writing assessment follows the same guidelines as the WriteToLearn submission requirements. They need to write 2 different essays. Alright, and the person that is going to help me out with this, she's having a little bit of issues getting onto the live meeting. I'm just going to check really quick to see how she's doing. And Sue, you said you're on the call? And if so, remember you need to push pound 6 in order for us to hear you. Yes. Yeah, that should work. So yes, I'll just share the slides that Sue has here. So Sue, she is the one that manages WriteToLearn, and she will help me just explain any of this because she can explain it a lot better than me. She knows the program inside out, and she's been with it for quite some time. This is only my second year managing for South Dakota, and she does the managing for the entire. She works for Pearson, so she works with all the states that use WriteToLearn. And Sue, just feel free to interrupt or add anything you want. It won't bother me one bit. Yeah. Yes, thank you. All right, and this is just a slide that Sue has. It's just students in this generation communicate through writing more than any previous generation. But just the problem is just that we're setting the bar a little bit short. Whereas if we raise the bar, then that'll get the students to increase their scores and everything just because higher or the higher we raise it, and I think students will meet those expectations if you give them higher expectations. And you might recognize this. Students, they are texting all the time, and they're writing to each other all the time. The only problem is when they write, this is what their conversations look like. So just trying to get them to write correctly into an internet program is kind of why we have WriteToLearn, and this gets them practice at writing professionally. So, Stuart, go ahead. Yes, and students must learn how to communicate effectively through good writing, and it just comes down to practice and feedback. And that's exactly what WriteToLearn has. It just gives students practice at writing essays, and it gives them immediate feedback on their writing. All right, Sue, right now I'm on the product overview. What is WriteToLearn? Did you want to talk about this at all?
find essay writing activities to strengthen the students' writing skills, and summary writing activities to build reading comprehension skills. So with the addition of a new vocabulary tool, we actually refer to it now as a literacy tool. And while we understand that the state of South Dakota, the requirement to meet the state standards is to use the essay writing component, I think it's really important to note that you have a very robust tool available at your disposal to really help build all of those skills, reading, writing, and vocabulary. And today, our system is really going to stress that. Each of the components have their value. And the essay writing component, can score essays overall holistically, and then on 6 particular traits of writing. The summary writing component allows the students to read and summarize nearly 1,000 reading passages across subject areas. And what's really critical about this is that the Common Core standard for literacy really emphasize the student's ability to synthesize that informational text. And there's really no better way to do that through the use of summary writing. So again, while South Dakota is using the essay writing component also to meet the state requirements, you really have this great tool available for you to use, and I would encourage you to do so.
Thank you, Sue. And sorry, I'm just trying to help one person get on the call. Okay, and yeah, she explained that pretty well. And here's just the difference between the essay writing and the summary writing. Remember, the essay writing is what the state requires the students to write 2 of. So what's nice about it, it does give automatic evaluation with immediate feedback. And on the immediate feedback, many of the prompts have 6 traits of writing. It scores the students on 6 traits of writing, which include ideas, organization, convention, sentence fluency, word choice, and voice. And then the summary writing, there are nearly 1,000 reading passages. So what this is, the student would read a passage, and then they would summarize what they just read. And this is what the state does not, this does not meet the state's requirement, but like I said, you can use it as much as you want. And the beautiful thing about it is it has cross-curricular content. So it has reading passages in there for science, social studies, and history. So just getting, and that's Common Core really focuses on that, just getting literacy into all our cross-curricular. And so this is just great practice at that. Yes, and this is a little messed up. This should say vocabulary. I can't remember what it says underneath it, but that vocabulary, that is what Sue was talking about before. You can either turn this on or off, but if you want the vocabulary part to be on before the summary writing, before the students can access the summary, they take a little vocabulary quiz, and it shows them if they know the words that they'll need to know for the passage they're about to read. And when we go into the live site, you'll be able to see this for yourself and what it looks like to the student. And like, oh, go ahead, sorry.
And I figured out a good way maybe Kate and I just can't go over effectively after this training. I've got your telephone that now, so it's going to be to the next slide. I'll go ahead and cover that one, and then when you move to the live demonstration, I'm going to go ahead and go in there as well, and that way I can maybe give you some guidance and talk through it.
Okay, and before you go through this, we do have some questions. I'm just going to check them out really quick. All right. Question is, does this really go into the last 2 full hours? And since we're kind of going at this rate, or how we're doing it now, it might get done a little bit early, but we just go through it pretty full in detail once we get into the site, just to show you everything it has to offer for the students and everything it has to offer for the teachers. So we'll keep it moving, and hopefully you agree that it is all information that is relevant to you. And this person says they're having difficulties hearing. Can anyone help me? So, Sue, while you're talking about, are you on the slide about roles and responsibilities? All right, while you're talking about that, I will write to this person.
Okay, so when we think about WriteToLearn, at least internally, we think about it from the perspective of a hierarchy as it relates to the roles and responsibilities. And it really starts with the testing coordinators. And I realize a lot of you are new teachers using the program for the first time this year. And just kind of going back to that question we got about really take 2 hours. Well, we hope it doesn't, but there's certainly a lot of information to pack into this time. Because while the testing coordinators really is the top of the hierarchy, and they create your teacher account and give them to you, what you need to learn to do, what we're going to tell you on today, is how to create your classes, how to enroll students in the program. If you want to create an additional classroom environment to meet the needs of various learning abilities, and how you can assign these activities or these points in reading passages to your students. Now, going back to the testing coordinator, if you have not received your teacher URL, login, and password, that's where you need to go. Your testing coordinator's main role is to create your teacher account and make sure that they distribute them to you. Houston has basically uploaded all the state school rosters in the program. So it will be very easy for you to identify the students and put them in your class. And you do have to start with a teacher account. So that's where the testing coordinator's main role is. And again, your role or your responsibility is to create those classes, enroll your students or manage your student roster, and then create the activities for your students to be invited to. Your students then simply log in and they're able to get started immediately. And again, they can you can choose from essay writing and summary writing activities, and we'll show you how that works in just a minute. So are there any questions about the roles and responsibilities? What you are responsible for? Okay.
And I'll let everyone's on mute, but I'll let you know if anyone writes into the Q&A box.
Right. So then Matt, do you want to go ahead there and call up the student interface, or do we have any other questions that have come through?
I will be watching it. I can do that right now, though.
So if you're wondering why we start with the student interface, I think it's really important that everybody gets a good perspective of what the student experience is like.
And Sue, I'll just push you again if you can just push pound 6 again after this.
And we'll start with the student interface, and then we'll move on to the teacher interface. Learn how you can set up your classes and get started with WriteToLearn. So now this time I'm going to go ahead and push pound 6.
All right, just 1 second.
user has muted your line. To unmute your line, press pound 6.
All right, so you should be able to push pound 6 now.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yep. And I just logged in as Lisa.
Okay. Let me go and do this demonstration then, and I should be able to walk you through it, even though I'm not able to do it. Matt, have you read that alert?
Yep.
Okay, fantastic. So what you're seeing here is what the students see when they log in. As I mentioned, there are essay writing activities and summary writing activities. The students in South Dakota must complete two essay writing activities, but they'll see all the activities you have assigned to them when they log in. Now, I'm not going to go ahead and click on the description of a remarkable place. And while he's doing that, you probably should look over to the right, and it also tells the student how many time or attempts that they have. If there's a teacher may have left any comments for them to review, and what their current status is.
Yeah, and that's right here. Tries left and if there's teacher comments. And I'm clicking into it now. Okay, we're good.
Right. So you can now see the processes from the student. And the first thing I'm going to ask Matt to demonstrate is how the translation tool works within WriteToLearn. So Matt, you want to just go ahead and share a few words about the translation tool, both the text out and the fact that you can generate all the instructions and feedback?
Yeah, so when the student logs in, notice up at the top there's this English drop-down box. So if I click it, students can choose either Spanish or simple Chinese. So let's just say I change it to Spanish. Notice that the essay stays in English, however the teacher had it. That's how it will be, but everything else will be in Spanish, including the titles and directions and all of the little buttons at the bottom too. Those all change to Spanish. So this just helps those students that might not be as strong in English. And then the text help toolbar is at the top too. That's this up here. So if you highlight a section and then click the play button, it will actually read out loud what you just highlighted. So you can play it, you can stop it. There's also this translate word. So if I highlighted a word, let's say character, and you click that, it translates the word for you. So here's all the different translations, and there's sounds to it too, so you can hear it. And then there's also a picture dictionary. So if I do the word write, and I click on or this is just the regular dictionary. So if I click the dictionary, it gives the definitions to the word write. And the last tool is this picture dictionary. If I click that, then there's a picture dictionary. It shows what it looks like to write. So that's kind of cool that they have that. And that text help should be available in the student interface. And I do see we have a question. I'm just going to check that really quick. What if we have a student whose language is neither of those options?
The only two that we currently offer support with is WriteToLearn. Otherwise, they would prove that they're working on increasing their English skills, and I would recommend that you leave them on English. But right now, all we have is the simplified Chinese, and it's still in Spanish.
And whoever just joined the call, if you could just mute your phone by pushing *6. Thank you. And Sue, do you want me to put the essay in there now?
Right. So what that's going to do, though, is go ahead and
Yep, and I'm clicking get feedback right now. And just to let you know, maybe I'll just show this right here. There is spell check right here, so if students want to check their spelling before they click get feedback. They can also check their grammar. And this little ball right here, it looks like a, I don't know what you would call that, but it turns on the word prediction. And we'll show you how you can turn this on and off in case you don't want your students to have this. And Sue will talk a little bit more about this now too, but I just wanted to show you if I turn it on. And if I start typing a word, let's just say I begin typing something, it just predicts the word that you're trying to write out. And Sue, do you want to talk a little bit about that now, or?
Sure. So, word prediction looks like a little bit of all. It's one of the new procedures that we had in WriteToLearn. And part of the reason we did was because it's a now an allowable accommodation for students with disabilities by part. We assume that far down for all students on that, and we wanted to go ahead and make it available for students, for struggling students with WriteToLearn as well. So that's pretty much how that particular tool works, as well as the grammar and the spell check are above, and basically there's a toolbar there for students to use to colorize and underline, anything like that. But that technique is really to get something, or as we mentioned, and as Matt is doing, copy and pasting the box, and then below, clicking that get feedback button. So now you can just sort of tell me where you're at with that.
Yep, I just clicked get feedback, so now we're looking at the scoreboard.
Okay, fantastic. So what you see there is the blue bars are representing how the students did in each one of those four category areas. Overall, we're going to see starting at the top, and then on each of those 6 traits below. Now, the green vertical bar shows the passing threshold. On a 6-point scale, the default passing threshold is set for 4. However, the teacher has the ability to move or throttle that passing threshold either forward or backward to, again, better meet the needs of the student that they're working with. And again, the state of South Dakota has allowed teachers a lot of flexibility in how they want to set up these activities to meet the learning goals of the students in their class. Now, where WriteToLearn really becomes instructional is when Matt clicks on one of those traits. And probably ideas would be a good one to speak on.
Yep, it's up.
Hold on just 1 second here. All right. Okay. So as you can see here, it opens up a new window where the student is saying feedback based on 2 things. The score point associated with the comp, which happens to be a middle school comp, I believe it's 7th grade, and the score point the student received on that particular trait. So our idea is the student score 1, which is obviously a low score, so we know that the trait needs the basic level of support in order to increase their writing skills. Now, this is set up to give the student, these tabs across the top are set up to give the student ideas about why they scored what they did, and even more importantly, suggestions on how they can improve their writing. Now, the last tab over are essay examples. And those essay examples allow the students to click on an example essay on each one of the 6 score points. And the thumbs down and the thumbs up for each one of those examples allow the students to click on them, and it will highlight within each of the examples what are the shortcomings or some of the more positive attributes within these exemplars. Now, if we go back to something like supporting click on the Spanish, you can see how all of that feedback has now been translated into the student's native language. Again, the student has the ability to highlight and play around all of that rich feedback. So that level of feedback is available on each one of these 6 traits on the 6-point scale. So there's actually quite a bit of information behind each one of those traits links. The idea is the students take that feedback that they were given and also work on the editing tools. That would be the spelling and grammar, and if there were any repeated sentences, and work to make those corrections or enhancements to their writing before they resubmit to get a better score. So now we go back to the main scoreboard. Can you be on the main scoreboard again?
Yep, I'm there.
So here you can see that on this particular essay, the student has 3 misspelled words and it detected 11 non-writers. This is where the student goes below down at the text box and begins to click on those icons for grammar and spelling and identify those errors and make corrections. And as you would like, why don't you go ahead and take them through an example of how to do this work.
Yeah, so as you see, I pushed the spelling one, and it puts the red little squiggly line underneath the misspelled words. So the first one is exists, and you can choose them, and you can see what they look like. If you click on them, it has definitions for them, and exists is what it should be. So then if I click this right here, it replaces exists with what it should be. So, and then it just goes to the next one. So now it's on puffy. So then here's puffy, and it would be this one right here, and students can put it into the essay. And then let's just say I'm done with this slow spelling. And then clicking here on check grammar, this is where they can actually see grammar. And just like Microsoft products, grammar is indicated by a squiggly green line. So there is flowers by the creek, so that should be our flowers. So if I apply that, now it changed is flowers to our flowers, and they can just go through and fix their their grammar just like that. And also, I just wanted you to see these tips. They were available on right when the student started writing the essay as well, but these are just tips to help the student get thinking more about, if they're stuck, they can type this out or click on this, so think about it. If they click on show, what is a place that you remember well? So it's just questions that get the student thinking, and they're unique for the prompt. So these are questions just for this prompt right here. And if the student wants more tips, they can click more. And now this new one popped up, give the main idea. The first time we did not have that. And since the student clicked get feedback once, they got additional tips. So what makes this place exciting, enjoyable, or weird? And they can get more tips to work on getting the main idea of their passage or of their essay. And then down here, there's get feedback. They can also save their essay. And if you want your students to print their essays so you can see them better, or paper copy, there's this format for printing. So just formats the essay so it's easily printed. And then you can also view all your essays. And Sue, maybe I'll let you talk, or if you want to talk about the add references or citations. And I see we have a question, so I'll look at that while you're doing that.
Really to help them do some idea generation, and then we know that that the students really need some help in making sure that they firmly establish and may not have on which they can add one idea.
Yes, the question was how did I get to the page with the tabs? So, or that gives suggestions on how to increase their score. So how I did that, I was an idea, so you can do that for every one of these. So let's say I go into organization. So if I click on organization, you just click on one of those 6 tabs, and then here are 6 traits, and then it brings you to those tabs, so you can choose the tab that you want. And here was the essay examples was the last tab, and then you can increase or do whatever points you want. Let me check. Nope, that's it.
So what we'd like to show you next is a simulation of that writing process. Matt's going to go ahead and grab another sample that simulates what you would, what students would see when they take the feedback given by WriteToLearn, and they incorporate it into that revision cycle. And then you'll quickly get feedback again. And now once you've done that, just let me know, and I'll do walk a little bit further down and do that slide forward.
All right, so I'm just going to grab, let's say this student just replaces this writing. They fix it up a little bit, and now I'm clicking Get Feedback. And notice I had 5 tries left. Now I am down to 4 tries. Whenever you click Get Feedback, it lowers the number of tries down by 1. And we're there now, Sue.
Okay, fantastic. So the thing you probably noticed the most blue inverted arrows. And that is an indicator to the student where they were on their last attempt, so they can clearly see their march progress. So the student here is making progress. They haven't passed this activity yet, because in order to pass it, they would need to get every one of these blue bars go through a record to exceed that green vertical passing threshold. Now, in that revision cycle, it looks like they introduced some additional misspelled words or grammar errors. We don't really need to show you them, because we might already show you how those editing tools work. But that often happens. And so we're going to continue to identify misspelled and grammar errors, and also give additional feedback relative to those paper traits. And that feedback is not just going to change because the student has advanced, and so we're able to get a little bit more targeted in our feedback. Now you'll notice to the right-hand side, we do keep an eye on the length of the overall essay. And what we are really looking for that student to get is in that good zone, or what I call sweet spot, not too short and not too long. Now there are language requirements for the students. Those are only notes at the top of that text input box, and it shows that the expected words for this essay here is 150 to 650 words. You can also see that additional new writing tips have appeared, and again, those are really scaffolding tools to just help the students work through that writing process. Okay, so any questions on the essay writing activities before we advance and move to the summary writing, and then we'll go into the teacher interface.
Yes, and we do have a question. Is there a certain score the students have to meet? Does the teacher get to set the passing score for each child, or is there a passing score that is required by the state? And I can answer that. There is not a certain score, because all we look at is participation. So if the student, even if he just wrote an essay, or if he or she wrote an essay with only 10 words and clicked Get Feedback, in all reality, that would work. It probably would not work for your classroom, though, so you're the It works for us though. So yeah, so we just want it available so you can use it how you want. And Sue will also show this when we get into the teacher interface. You can set the passing score for each, so you can either raise it or lower it for the overall, or raise and lower it for each of those 6 traits too. So in summary, it does not matter what they score, it will still count for us.
Right, that's right. And as Matt stated, I'll show you when it goes to the teacher interface. The assignments are tied to a class. So if you want an individual assignment, if you want a passing threshold and other kinds of thresholds, or setting features, as you call them, you would really need to set up a class and enroll that single student. Well, hopefully you'll have, you may have a class that has got 2 or 3 distinct ability levels, and we'll show you how you can set up those 3 classes and make settings adjustments to really meet their needs. Any other questions about before we move on to the summary writing side and go back to the selection activity page?
It doesn't look like it right now. So right now I'm just clicking on the select new activity, and we're back at the home page.
Okay, and you'll notice that the description of your module plane is still has 4 times left, and the status is really to keep working. And students can really log out of WriteToLearn at any time and pick this back up again, whether it be for polls or for school, whatever you allow as well. But keep in mind, it is web-based, so wherever the student has internet access, they have login for their phone and computer, they can access and use WriteToLearn. Now that's back on the selected activity page, and we do want to go ahead and show you what an summary writing exercise looks like, or excuse me, a summary writing activity looks like, because again, these are available for your use. And this one that you're going to click on is called Foundations of Geography, and this one has a vocabulary exercise included with it. Now that's going to go ahead and you have an overview, click on that, and I just want to share with you a little bit about these activities because I think they're pretty unique. This is really personalized learning as a science. The student is now going to be given these sentences in which they're asked to insert the correct word. Now in some cases, more than one word will work, but really only one stands out as the clear right choice. Now that's going to begin this exercise, and please go ahead and purposely choose the correct and incorrect words and move through these exercises, and that will just let me know when you've completed that. And then to let you know what's happening on the back side, Pearson is running an algorithm whereby we are starting to gather input as to what words the student does know and those that they do not know, so that we can begin to take them down a personalized path of new vocabulary or additional exercises, new exercises that will focus on the words that they are struggling with. Now, as you know, Common Core has put the emphasis on academic vocabulary. These words are domain-based and academic-based vocabulary words that are really necessary for the student to understand in order for them to comprehend this reading passage that they are about to identify. Okay, Matt, how do you do?
Just got done. We're looking at the overall progress now.
Okay, great. So now here you can see that a student has a scoreboard, and scoreboard indicates those words that are really good for the student master to the far right-hand side, or those that are progress. These are words we're not the students to the word a few more times to make sure. And then those words that we know that they simply don't have a good understanding of. And at that point, we will take them down a set of new exercises that focus on just those words that they do not know, specific to that student. Now, in the interest of time, we're actually going to move forward and choose to move on to the reading passage. And that, can you go ahead and kind of go up down the reading passage and talk a little bit more about the tactile tools and how students can use those when they get to the reading passage?
Yep, so here is the reading passage right here. Students would read this. And there is now new features on the text help. They still have read out loud, so they can do that. They're still translating words, dictionary, picture dictionary. But now they're also highlighting. So let's say this is an important sentence right here. People usually don't move without a good reason. So you can highlight that. So if I highlight it, now it is highlighted. And you have two different colors too. So maybe they would use that color for that. And then this pinkish purple, that they also have that, and then they can also clear any highlighting they do by choosing this last one. And then once they, or anything else about the story, or do you want me to go on to start the new summary?
Sure. Yeah, I think that would be great. So once they've completed reading to the passage, they can print it and read it offline. But once they've completed that task, then they would go in and their job is really to summarize what they read. And so that's going to go ahead and he's got another student example piece of writing. He's going to go ahead and put it in there. And then he'll just give me an indication that he's completed that. You got it pulled up, and we'll take it from there.
Yep, so notice that the interface what the students type into looks pretty much the exact same as the essay one. So the students would just type in their essay just like this. They have the exact same tools. They click Get Feedback. And here's the scoreboard for summary.
Exactly. Now this scoreboard obviously looks better than an essay writing scoreboard. Because what it really is looking at is how well the students express those main ideas or relevant concepts that were introduced in that reading passage on world population. And one of the tools I actually, the learning tools for students that I like best, is that where they did not get a pass before getting to that reading area, it will provide a hint to the students. And then if you go ahead and click on a hint.
Yep, so this little one right here, I'll just click that on population density. All right, it's up.
Identify really information that should have been included in their summary but was not. So these are some of the kinds of features we've added into the product over the years that are really based on teacher input. How can we scaffold this summary writing process in a way that helps the students understand what important ideas they want to include, and importantly, how can then we really direct them to where they need to be and get them to go back discovery writing activity.
And I will let you know we don't have any as of now.
So just know too that if anyone, maybe was a little shy about asking how we're able to score something in an essay, but didn't want to type it out or make that question or ask that question in English, we will get back to the slide deck and I'll be explaining really the science behind all of this automated reporting and how it works. So, if there are no other questions and in the interest of time, what I'd like to say about these summary rating activities is that, again, we are available for your review. Kids seem to really like them. Again, they are really beautifully supported standards and the students emphasizing their ability to understand and express that informational text. So while they're not required, you are more than welcome to do these activities. And they work the same way essay writing activities work. The students will take the feedback given by WriteToLearn, correct their grammar errors, correct their spelling errors, and basically resubmit until they get a passing score.
All right, so we did get a question. Does the type of technology the student have affect what the students can do?
Technology and how do you mean by that?
I'm assuming she means like what internet browser they're using, or if they're using iPad versus a laptop or a desktop.
Sure. Okay, so absolutely. I mean, as far as we're Kindle and iPad compatible, and we do have tech requirements, but we support a wide variety of browser settings, and then also they're available on the DOE website. And I'll say this about the iPad and Android devices. If your students are young, it appears that an external keyboard is really useful. If the students are a little older, they seem to be fine with the onboard keyboard. But as far as phone usage, they are able to access all of these capabilities to really anytime.
And just to clarify, she did mean iPads versus like laptops. Just to clarify, they will have all the tools like the text help box and being able to change the language and everything like that, correct?
Right, and we last year made changes so that WriteToLearn would be iPad compatible. So that's a great question.
All right, I think that's it for now.
Okay. All right. Well, if that's all the questions, I think we should move to the teacher program and get started on showing these kids how they can get started with WriteToLearn in their class. And the same thing, I'm going to go ahead and log in from my side. And so I can go ahead and just kind of walk you through it.
And what's nice about this, notice that the student link and the teacher link are pretty much exactly the same, except in the teacher link, all you have to do is type teacher at the end. So that's the only difference between the two URLs. So I'm just logging in as a teacher right now, same school. And this is what the teacher homepage looks like.
That's the teacher's school menu. And think of it as broken down into like person student content. To the right-hand side, our class management tool. We'll go that very carefully. So the left-hand side are reports. These are reports that really help you gain a good understanding of the usage and performance at the student and the class level. And then there are two other boxes below teacher resources and additional information. Think of those on the other resources with WriteToLearn that help you. The two new ones this year are the teacher resources, are the Common Core curriculum guide. And that was a guide written to really help teachers use the tool most effectively in support of the standards for literacy. And then we added in, I think we've got 21 or 22 new critical graphic organizers. So if you want to use graphic organizers to get the students to start knocking out their ideas and notebooks before they get started writing, we're also in some issues.
All right. And sorry about that. I actually had it on pause while I was looking at questions, so you now can see the teacher interface. So right side, those are the tools she was talking about. Left side of the reports, and the resource that she was talking about is the Common Core curriculum guide. And this is just what that looks like right here. It's just a curriculum guide to how to use WriteToLearn to meet the Common Core standards. So sorry about that, Sue.
So let's go ahead now and you click on the classes menu.
All right, we're there and it's live.
Okay. So the first thing that you'll need to do, unless your testing coordinator has been very, very generous and has already set up your class for you, the first task that you'll have to do is create a class. And so that if you could, in your series, go ahead and show them how to fill out a class. And then once you've got that set up, you can take them through the tabs below to add students into their class.
Sounds good.
When you are setting up classes in WriteToLearn, or really anything in WriteToLearn on the teacher side, what's in red is required, what is in black is optional. So when Matt sets up that class, the only thing you really have to do is give that class a name. And I always tell teachers that while students never see videos associated with the activities you selected, they do see the class name. So I just tell teachers that, be cognizant of that class name information. So Matt, are you there now? Have you created a new class?
Yep, so I'm typing in the class names now. I'll just name it Miss Edna's First Period Literature. And then description is black, so I'm not going to put that just because it is optional. So if I click Create Class, that's all it takes. So now the class is created, and notice we have no students in there yet because we haven't added them yet.
Called Enroll Students, and you can click on that and search for students that you want to enroll in this particular class. Now keep in mind that you might be setting up two classes to represent a single class period. Because maybe you established that you've got distinct ability levels in that class. Or just whatever you want to do, you would use the Enroll Students button to search up the students that you want to enroll in that class. Now, you also have the option to use the Unenrolled Students tab, which is the next tab over, to, in case you need any errors, to simply remove them from the class. Or maybe possibly there was a student who got transferred out of your class. You simply use that Unenrolled Students tab to identify the students and mark them and deselect them from their class.
Yes, and just to let you know, if your students were not in Infinite Campus when we did the file upload, your students are not in there. So what you or your testing coordinator can create accounts. And maybe we'll just talk about this now. So you can either create accounts like this, or it might be easier for your testing coordinator. You can just upload a file with all the student information, just get that from Infinity Campus, upload it to Pearson, or into WriteToLearn, and then I'll have the students. But just to let you know, if you're creating students, make sure first that your students are in there. Just because last year we had a little problem with this. Teachers were creating students that were already created in there, so students had more than one account. And this really messed up the reports page, because then people were wondering why the students were on the report twice, and you can't delete students in WriteToLearn. So just make sure before you create any students that they are or that they don't have an account. And if you need to create one, this is just how you do it. Let's say I have a student called Chris Johnson, and they're in grade 10. Their login is just going to be their 9-digit SIMS number, the state ID the state gives them, which you can find at Infinity Campus. So let's just say Chris's is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The password for all students is going to be the first 4 letters of the last name. So Johnson, the first 4 letters is John, and then their birth month and birthday. So let's say they were born on September 13th. So it'll just be John 0913 or 0913. And just to let you know, if you have a student whose last name is exactly 4 letters, let's say we have a student named Matt Gill, and their password is just going to be the 4 letters of their last name, and then their birth month and birthday. And then last example is if you have a student whose last name is less than 4. So let's say you have John Doe, his last name is only 3 letters. All you do is just type in those 3 letters and nothing else. So it'll just be DOE0101. So let's say he was born on January 1st. So that is what that would look like. And then you just click submit, and then the students are created. And just to let you know, once they're created, then you also need to still enroll them in a class. So you'll click submit, and then you'll go over to the enroll tab and add them to your class. And I do have a question. What if you're teaching in a private school and don't use Infinity Campus? What do you use for a login? So you're logging in, we don't get that from Infinite Campus. Your username and password, your testing coordinator will just create that. Oh, your students' logins. They still will have a 9-digit SIMS number. If you need me to send those to you, I can do that. But I'll check on that for sure, because I'm not sure. Stu, do you know that answer? Do private schools that don't use Infinite Campus, they should still have a 9-digit number, I think.
And your testing coordinator, if you have any concerns about creating an account because they weren't in Infinite Campus, you can also refer to your testing coordinator, your school system, who is supporting you with WriteToLearn. And we have gone over with them very carefully with the creation of additional students that might not have been included in the Infinite Campus file, data file that we received.
Yes, and the person who emailed me about or who just asked a question about the private student, or the students in a private school, just send me an email and I can help you out directly on that. Because some of them still have the student information in Infinite Campus, and so your students may already be in the program. We can just check on that and have a side conversation about that. And then have one more question: can students be under more than one teacher? And the answer is yes. And Sue, if you want to explain that as well, or
Sure. The state has covered the cost of every license for every student in grades 5, 7, and 10 across the state of South Dakota. Once that license is purchased, they can be enrolled in as many classes as they want. And oftentimes, with our when we have enrolled in an English language arts class, and a social studies and science class as well. Because one of the things that we're about to show you when we get into the science, you'll see that there is so much rich content from across the subject areas. It's a tool that is really designed to enhance the curriculum and promote writing across the curriculum. So, yes, the answer is yes. And that's a very encouraged you can do it. Yeah? Are you with me?
Yep.
Any other questions before we continue to your tools menu?
And I don't see any, and I'll just let you know if there are any, Sue.
Okay, so after you establish a class, the next thing you really need to do is assign an activity to the class. So now you go and click on the assignments tool, and then since this is a brand new class, you would click on the select activity. Now, at the time, if this is an existing class with assignments already or activities already assigned to it, you would find those activities. But in this case, they're not. So I just want to show you here that this is where you would stop on all of that, all of those essay topics and reading passages that you would like your students to respond with essays to or summarize. And since there is so much content within my form, we try to make it easy by giving you search for you to select by essays or showing grade level or subject areas. Please note that all essay topics are considered language arts, and many of them have a classification of either science or social studies where appropriate. But I also call out that we have so much in general content, and we have essays specific for English learners that we literally allow you to search on essays and separate reading passages in those category areas. All of these reading passages and essay topics come really from only a couple of answers. First, they come from the reading passages from Pearson Institute, such as Pearson's Blackboard and Pearson's Home, Campbell's Biology. The essay writing topics, a lot of us are retired writing field, like clinical literature, and now we have a new common core team that is developing and creating brand new content for the common core. So that, at this point, it would probably be a good idea to go ahead and show them how you can search for essays and summary, and how they can use the description field to find specific things about these essays that will be helpful to understand if it's a topic that you're interested in.
Yeah, sounds good. So as you see, I can choose essay, or I can choose essay English language learner, summary for English learning development, or summary English language learner. I'm just going to choose essay since that's what I just get, or I could select all, it doesn't really matter. I'm just going to select essay for now, just so I'm not looking at everything. Choose grade 7. Subjects, you can choose your subject if you want. And click find. And just take it. And then here is the list of summary activities, or essay prompts that match what I just searched for. So the names here, notice that I can click on the top if I want to sort by that type, or sort by grade, or not grade level, but description or name or anything like that. And and notice over here there's scoring overall. That one will not have the 6 traits. This one right here has the 6 traits and includes essay writing tips. So the description of it, that's very important to be looking at. Notice right here there's Common Core practice. So maybe you want to see what that one looks like. So to view an essay, you can just click on it, or an essay prompt. And here's the essay prompt right here. So this one's Common Core practice. It's practice at writing an argument. So let's just say you like that one, so you click the, you mark that one. And then maybe I'll also mark this one. Look at a difficult task. Yes, looks good. So after reading it, I choose that one as well. You can choose as many as you want. And notice, yeah, it just keeps going down. There's all of these that I could choose from. So let's just say I click those two and I click Save Assignments. Now notice on my assignments page, there are two activities there. So now if my students from my Miss Edna's first period literature, if they logged in, they would see these two essays now, or essay prompts, and they could go in and write essays to them. So, all right. No, I'm just going to ask you if there's anything else you wanted about that, or you...
The only thing I want you to call out is if you go back where you got at first, with high grade, with copy.
Yep.
The second one down is user author. And I just want to call that out to the participants because that's where you can find prompts that you create yourself. So I guess the next thing now would be to click on the prompt. Tabs off the top. And I just want to show the audience today that you can indeed create or author your own prompt if you choose. Now, again, a reminder, what's in red is required, what's in black is optional. And the little green question mark, by clicking on them, it will give further explanation of what they're expecting in those fields. Another thing about these teacher-created prompts is that you can even include a hot resource links to source documents, videos, images, anything that you like to add in support of the prompt. And when you get to the bottom, you have to assign a grade level and an essay type to that. Now, if you click on the select button under essay type,
Yep.
you'll see that there are 4 essay types. Now, within WriteToLearn, we have a lot more than that. But these are the 4 types that we are exploring these ad hoc essay topics. So, once you complete the task of setting it up, be sure to click Create Prompt when you do that lower right-hand corner. And then that's where you would find those other subscripts. That's where you would find that prompt that you created. I think that's really important. That, again, that will be found when you can search under user authored prompts. Now, just know this question came up the other day. Well, who can always see those prompts that I might author? They are contained at the school level. So if you create a prompt, so you and your colleagues within your school can view and use those prompts that you created.
And Sue, while you were talking, I actually did all that. I created a prompt. Who is your daddy and what do they do for 5th graders? If anyone's familiar with Kindergarten Cop, Arnold Schwarzenegger. So I just created that essay right there. And if I save the assignment, so now notice that the daddy essay is also added to the list.
Okay. All right. So I think the next thing we want to show them that is the setting tool. So if you'll click on the setting tool and maybe go to the practice writing class, you can see that you have 2 levels in which to adjust the settings. You can do it for all class activities, And that gives you the opportunity to, this would be again for every activity across all your classes, you can change the number of tabs, whether you want spell, English, on or off, word submission, topic writing tips, essay writing tips, all that stuff. And if you have things that maybe would benefit from the language selection or just the teaching, you maybe don't already using it, well, you can turn it off. And that would be across, again, all your classes. But you have another option, and that would be to select a single activity. And if you'll select each of those, you'll have a break here.
All right.
Great. Now you can also make changes based on just this single activity. And you can see all of those scoring category areas and the various support features in which you can turn on or off or make adjustments to. And one of the things that I think is really important is seeing down below the passing threshold adjustment. Because this really allows the teacher to modify those score settings. I think I mentioned this a couple times already. You can see that the default setting is set for visual as 6 for passing. And because this is an active activity, to the right-hand side, you can see the number of students that are currently passing. But Matt's going to go ahead and play around with the layout, adjusting the passing threshold on various trains. And if you look to the right-hand side, you can see immediately how that impacts the number of students that are passing. You can also deselect certain traits that you don't want visible to the student. An example of why you might do this is that maybe you haven't discussed the importance of word choice and voice and reviewed that with your students. And so you don't want to get feedback in that area. But this is a great way a great tool, I should say, to really close in and customize activities based on the student's needs. Now, as a reminder, they may have 2 or 3 different ability levels recommended in a single class. You could easily choose the description of a remarkable trait and leave the default settings in place for one group. You could increase the passing threshold, increase the minimum use count, remove some of the support features if you like, or those of students you'd like to be more challenged. And then you could also work the opposite direction and reduce the passing threshold and ensure all the support features are turned on. When students log into WriteToLearn, they would all see that they have the same assignment, that they all have the same description of the article plays, essay topics, and responses. But they don't know if there have been any scoring adjustments made for that. Does that make sense? Everybody understand that?
And we do have a question. Can the setting change from class, and you just talked about this, can the setting change from class to class? Yes, like we are right now, we're doing it for one class. If I could choose another class just like this. So if I go to the top class, so this is my practice writing class, if I wanted to my Edna's, or it was Miss Edna's, first period literature, then I could also change the settings for all class activities in that class, or just one activity. So I could, maybe my daddy essay, I could change the settings on that. And I see there is more to that question, sorry. Example, I want to give my advanced students only 3 tries, but I want to give my basic students 6 tries while they're both still doing the same prompt. And that is exactly what Sue was just talking about, that you can just put them in 2 different classes and then set the thresholds differently for them.
Okay. So at this point, we've really covered all of the teachers' tools on the Western side. Matt showed you if you want already there, you can go back to the teachers' tools menu. He showed you how to set up a class, how to manage that class also, how to bring in your students or maybe move them out if they're not going to be in your class, how to assign activities, how to create their own prompt if you like, and where to find it so you can assign it to a class or classes, and then how you can adjust settings for assigned activities. So everything is really clear on the class too. I think we should move now to so now if you can start with the class folder, and we'll choose that practice writing class. And how about that description of remarkable phrase, everything to be the activity. You can see that you get a nice photo that looks a lot like what the students do and gives you an analyzed understanding of how students in the class are doing. And down below where it says shopping and grammar, you get a feel for areas of weakness. Now, this is a great report, but I think an even better report is the overview report. So now if you'll click on the overview report, and let me know when you're there.
Yep, we're there.
Okay. This one, using color coding, like so one of the products you use, gives you a really good idea of how each student is scoring in each individual score category area. Even to the far right, you have minutes on task, number of attempts, and hours attempts, number of tasks of attempts. Now, you want to call out a caveat to minutes on task. That's the number of minutes that the student is spending inside the application component. It does not account for students that are working outside of the application and composing work using a word processing program. Okay? Now, what I like talking about with reports is that it gives you a really quick look at which students are progressing and those that could use your help. Those that are struggling. So obviously you're going to look for those that have more goals than green. And the very bottom, now that you're not there, you can scroll down a little bit. It gives you averages. And you can see by the point back there which test areas your class or this particular class is weaknesses. And now you have a tool to help you target your instruction. You know just what to make sure you do. Now, this report would likely trigger you to want to go into the student writing portfolio and see, wow, okay, maybe you're struggling or whatever. I want to look at their writing. So now, if you would, can you click on the reader's name to the far left-hand side and really take it directly into the reader's writing portfolio.
And I see we do have a quick question. Is it better to compose the essays in Word first, then copy into WriteToLearn?
Not necessarily. The only real advantage to that is if the student maybe doesn't have internet access or computer lab time and at a freehand, and they can work on these kinds of things at home if you want to. Or maybe you have computers that don't internet access at home, they can still create it in Word and then put it into the application when they get it. So, but as far as advantage copying and pasting versus typing directly in the desktop, no, it doesn't matter either way. It's just another option for students. this link there, it will pull up a little yellow sticky note, and that's where that is demonstrated how he has included specific comments on that particular submission, and as soon as once they either log back in or refresh their screen, they will see that comment and read it. Now, once you've demonstrated that, if you could let me know, then we'll move on to the progress report.
Yep, it's in there.
Okay, great. So now some benefits of the progress report, which really is charting the student's progress from one attempt to the next for each individual activity. And so, with Lisa, I think she only submitted one science and so there's not a whole lot of charting. But, for students that have been given the 6 or 7 or 8 attempts, you really hope to see that improvement. And as long as you're just that, that progress is being made in the right direction. And the last report is the student report, which gives a comprehensive view of each student and their writing progress. And so you can see everything that the student has done. And down below there are totals and averages. And again, you can say that these reports, along with the writing portfolio, are two excellent resources to explain and made available to share with either the student, administration, or parents. They just make a nice, comprehensive view of the student's teaching way to learn. All right. And that really includes all of the 5 reports. And if you can't go there to the house, you just want to use this food.
Sorry, where did you want me to go?
To the teacher tool. So just as an overview again, like I did this before, the class scoreboard shows an average class performance. The OAK examines all of the specific performance details. The progress report monitors all the students' recent actions. And by the way, if you already know when your students are logging in and logging out, of course, let me know that information as well. Student report shows the overall or comprehensive student report, performance report, and then that portfolio is really indicating the role of their writing portfolio and providing comments on student work. So, this again, when we determine if there are any questions about the reports and the tools before we go back to the actual PowerPoint presentation, because it's really that includes both a demonstration of the students and the teacher's tools they use.
All right, and maybe right before I go back to that, I might just show them the Department of Education WriteToLearn page. Oh.
And I believe there's some additional slides to that about Common Core and that kind of thing.
Yes.
We would want to do those.
Yes, of course. I just wanted to go through this now just because since we're out on the website, but this is the Department of Education homepage. It's just doe.sd.gov. And if I hover over assessment and accountability and then hover over assessment, way at the bottom is WriteToLearn. And if I clicked on that, it brings me to this site. So this is the WriteToLearn page where you can find, if you figure out what the state requirements are, or if you wanted to look at the handbook, or there's a teacher checklist here too. You can look at that teacher checklist, just make sure you're doing everything in there. And all the recorded webinars are right here. And for teachers, there's also sample scoring rubrics, sample grading scale, classroom ideas, and how to join the WriteToLearn listserv. I send emails over this listserv if there's trainings coming up or if there's changes in WriteToLearn. I would email that across the WriteToLearn listserv. So if you want to join that, there's directions on how to do that. And then if I go way down to the bottom, here's information about off-grade licenses. I'll talk about this in the PowerPoint as well. But the state pays for the 5th, 7th, and 10th grade licenses. All other licenses the school or district would have to pay for, and they are $10 per student. And the person who you would contact for this is this Carrie Austin right here. So you can email her or call her if you want licenses for other grades. And then the technical requirements that Sue talked about, those are right here. Once again, here's my contact information on the website so you know how to get a hold of me. And if you're having troubles with the technical side of WriteToLearn, here is a technical support. Here's an email for them and a phone number. So if you wanted to email them, chat with them, see other product support, or if you wanted to call them, there's information all about that right here. So just wanted you to know that this website's out there and we're always changing it. So this webinar will be added to this site as well. And with that, I will go back to the PowerPoint. Let's see. All right, so right now we have the using WriteToLearn in support of CCSS, slide 17 of 38.
Okay, perfect. These modules are available for their use, and I don't want to necessarily read these to you. They just need to be aware that WriteToLearn supports students in support of the standards, particularly really in instructing our students like everyday process with their learning. That's how it's so typically when somebody speaks that we include them in multiple classes on coding, you're referring to putting them in classes outside of language arts classes. And also as a reminder that you use the summary writing activity component, and you assign the vocabulary exercises to them. That's a wonderful way to emphasize that your students learning those academic vocabulary words that are really acquired through the use. If you're looking at one more slide, Matt.
Yep.
You know, currently also mandated to use the source documents and WriteToLearn and their ability to really synthesize that informational text. WriteToLearn includes that nearly 1,000 readings for informational text that range from grades 3 to 12. We also have every topic with a tax one document, and as a reminder, with the essay prompt feature, you can create your own code and include reports, include internal URL links to any kind of materials you'd like in support of those. We have all kinds of new essay topics that we add in every year, and it's no surprise that the most key ones we added really are the focus on evidence-based writing. You'll see a whole lot more of those. And also concourse that students must read increasingly more difficult text. WriteToLearn has assigned an RMN value to every new passage within WriteToLearn. This RMN value, think of it as a text complexity value, very similar to lifestyle. We got that along with a conjugal grade band, and if you were to find just the right text to your students, please use those values. One thing I'm very proud to say is that in a Data Translation Research Project, RMN, and so reading maturity metric actually has Student writing, do you have how to do it for essays?
Yep.
Wait, wait. All right. So I know that there's real resources and new teachers using WriteToLearn, but younger teachers, please leave off and all because we've gone over to that. So I just want to share with you when we demonstrated or when Matt demonstrated that description of a remarkable place where the students received feedback on those 6 traits, how that essay was actually calibrated to give that kind of feedback. So for every essay like that within WriteToLearn, we have collected hundreds and hundreds of student examples written to the students at the appropriate grade or and so we're talking to the U.S. And what we really need is representation across the scoring range. We need to make sure we've got plenty of 1s and 2s and 5s and 6s, so they can all be plenty of threes and 4s. And we actually use additional scoring graders or scorers to score each one of those essay responses. And one of the most challenging parts is to find 2 professional essay scorers who will agree 100% on how an essay should be scored on all 6 traits. And I think, we're remote today, but if we were together in a room, I think I'd see some shading heads. So I think it's reflective, and it can be very difficult to find 2 people who agree on that. So what we're really looking for is 2 potential scores that are in agreement 98% of the time or better. And we use those scores then that they come up with to train our scoring engine. Now keep in mind that they are also looking at the content of the student's writing. And therefore, WriteToLearn can make judgments about whether the student is on or off topic. So there is another real value to using human scores in order to build out a scoring model. And when people say to me, well, how can a computer score like a teacher, the first thing I tell them is actually built by humans that are scoring. And they're really using the same measures that anybody uses to evaluate the quality of writing. And what we have shown in our research is that WriteToLearn agrees with the score of professional human scores just as well as 2 human scores would agree with each other. Now, if you're at the end of that, then we'll move on to the next slide, because this is usually the next question you get. Well, okay, if that's how you score essays with 6 traits, what about these teacher created songs? Because they're created without the use of all those samples, so you're exactly right. And for those, we're only able to give a holistic or overall score. And we're able to do that using a scoring model where Monica has really derived by analyzing thousands, if not millions now, pieces of human scores to essays across hundreds of essays across. Here's another technology. This is really our core business, and it's auto scoring. And so we score on A&D and 2014. We score for a lot of Pearson Prize like that. We score state writing assessments with the second score. So we're really in the business of years, and we built a scoring model quite easily using all of those types of costs and student marks we receive from that. Now, keep in mind, on the teacher created prompt, again, you'll get all the English score, and we cannot tell whether the student is on or off topic. It's really looking at your general quality of writing. Okay? It does provide suggestions on what they can do to improve their writing, but again, it cannot tell whether the student is on or off topic. Now, the slide 21 here talks about how the WriteToLearn score summary is pretty simple. We really are comparing
Yep.
Page 22 and 23. Is that affirmative?
Yes. Sorry.
Okay, so the next time really talk about our roadmap for 2013 and what we've done. Really, you're new to the program, but you should know some of the newer things we added in with that order prediction, that went in on the 14th. We added an even lower level of essay advice. So now we got 3 levels, high, medium, and low. We are adding in specific essay topics for English learners, and they have their own scoring rubric. It's a 4-point rubric that really focuses on the fundamentals of writing. And then the idea is that after they get comfortable with that, they can be transitioned over to a 6th grade rubric where we start to get feedback on the finer elements of writing. Now, you see things here that start with our team. We may slide on just a little bit due to the weather view. We haven't been able to access our offense and our system, so we may have to push that back just a little bit. On the next slide, again, you can see that we added in a whole new argument-based column, new common core style column, that designated field for citations is brand new this year. And some are visual writing columns. They're not always really, really well, and we actually have a sample of those. So now let's advance to the next slide where our teachers can see how if you're looking specifically for common core practice, go ahead and there's a screenshot there, and you'll kind of small, but on the right-hand side description, be sure to have these common core practices. That's how you're going to be able to verify those kinds of comps. The next slide shows a visual prompt, even though the visual prompt is just one example. And you can see what they're fun. They elicited some really interesting responses, and I would encourage you to use those. There are really no prompts that are off limits as far as meeting the stage requirements for essay writing. And then the last slide there really is about the fact that we're adding in a whole bunch of reading packages from Keystone Junction through Keystone Pearson, so we're English learner limit program. And we also, added using upgrade on the ground to become as precise and positive as possible, without introducing a lot of positives. The last thing is that we have those numeric organizers asked for by teachers, provided by the WriteToLearn team. And then, here is every year in the faculty, more support for WriteToLearn. This year we're supporting Windows 8, 90, 10, Android tablets. We already have that supporting iPads. We support Chromebooks, and the one algorithm that we did drop was IP7, and that's simply because we have almost been 2% of our users using IP7, and we talked about them trying to drive support for that. So that really concludes that for me and WriteToLearn. Everything has a program. I realize that I appreciate your patience. It did take nearly 2 hours. And there was a little, if you look at all of our presentations, there was plenty of challenges that I've been, not been able to follow that directly, but I think we were pretty successful at giving you the information that you need to be productive with the tool. So I'll open this. Matt, do you have any other slides before I wrap up and any Q&A?
Yes. I just have a little bit. We've talked about most of this, so I'm just going to go through it pretty quickly, just kind of overview, reminders. So just remember, how do you access your account? You have to contact your district testing coordinator. They'll give you your username and password, and also they'll send you the URLs to teacher and student interfaces. How do your students access their accounts? So you'll have to give them the student URLs, maybe have it on a website or on their homepage or something like that. Their username, remember, is just their 9-digit SIMS number, the state number. Student password is the first 4 characters of the last name plus 4-digit birth month and day. Flexibility in the classroom. So remember, any essay prompt can be used, and students can use the copy-paste in the program if they want. You can adjust the scoring and passing threshold, and it can be used in any classroom. It doesn't matter what class or what subject it is. And essay prompts must be used for compliance purposes, but you are free to use the summary activities in addition to the essays. And we have this flexibility just because the purpose of this is to go right along with your curriculum, to fit into your classes, and just to go right along with what you're teaching. And that's why we have those user-authored prompts. You can make up your own prompts as well. And it's not supposed to be just a standalone assessment. It's supposed to actually go with your curriculum. So that's why we make it so flexible. And there is flexibility with accommodations. Just follow the student's IEP, and no accommodation will invalidate the assessment. So whatever you have to do for your students, just do it. You're the professional. And troubleshooting, let's say your students cannot log in, just double check their username and password and the URL. You may need to clear the browsing history on the computer. And if your students did not receive a score, this happens, the attempt will still count for the state participation, so you don't need to worry about that. They'll still count. And you may want to score by hand to provide the student with the feedback. And you probably should look over these anyway just to make sure you agree with the computer scoring, and just so you can give your students the feedback that you want to give them. And if you disagree with the program scoring, you can use the sticky note features to leave comments. And the student's score went down after he or she edited his or her paper. Students can retrieve previous versions of their essay, so they can always see the essays that they wrote. Even if they click get feedback 3 times, they can see what their essay looked like after the first attempt. And what other teachers are doing. Some teachers, students complete initial drafts in WriteToLearn and turn final copy in for the teacher to grade. Other teachers have their students use the text-to-speech function to have their own writing read back to them. And ELA teachers collaborate with other content areas to use summary writing activities, so writing instruction is consistent across the building. Some hide some of the trades on the scoreboard, so students focus on those they need most work on. And maybe they create ability group assignments. And some teachers assign a summary activity as homework to prepare students for the next day's lecture. So, like we said, there's great flexibility. These are just some examples, but whatever works best in your classroom, just go with that. And I did have a question. At the beginning, you mentioned the alternate assessment. What type of student is the alternate assessment for, or how is it different from the assessment we have been discussing? So this WriteToLearn is for all 5th, 7th, and 10th grade students, the students that take Dakota Step Test. The alternate writing assessment would be for those students that take the Dakota Step A test. So the ones that take D-Step A, those are probably the students that would take the alternate writing assessment. And just follow their IEP. If their IEP says they can use WriteToLearn with accommodations, you can do that. All right, and just remember the off-grade licenses, they are $10 per student. It's an annual license, and Carrie Austin is the contact person for that. And there's her phone number and email once again. And she works right with Pearson. She's the account representative. And then additional resources, Facebook page, WriteToLearn does have a Facebook page, so you can like that. We Are Teachers, that is a website, and Sue, if you want to help me out with this, if I get it, that's fine too, but it's just a site where you can go as a teacher and see how other teachers are using it. Is that basically what it is, Sue?
Yeah, I think I offer when I think for teachers, we are teachers, they have, oh, it's not, WriteToLearn has a presence out there, and we can join the WriteToLearn group, and yeah, I believe that we can, see how other teachers are using it, get some tips, so that's the thing. There's a lot of little contests out there, and with prizes, so it's kind of a fun way to go.
Okay, thank you. And then I already talked about the WriteToLearn listserv. If you want to join that, there's the link, and you just click on it and subscribe to it, and then any email I send out about WriteToLearn, you'll get that email. And there are additional trainings upon request, so if you want an optional or a Q&A webinar, these are all optional. It's available upon request, and we do have refresher sessions in November if necessary, if I get a request for them. And in January, same thing, if I get a request for them, I will do just a refresher on WriteToLearn. And final reminders, WriteToLearn is an instructional tool. Almost all students should already be in the system. There is no limit to the number of teacher accounts in the district, and great flexibility in how the program is used in your classroom. So just want to emphasize just using it to go right with your curriculum. And it is great for the whole formative assessment process. You teach something, you give them this, and then based on this, you can give them feedback, and you can form your instruction based on how they do. And that is the end of the slides. Once again, here's my contact information. Contact me with any questions. I'll try to get back to you. It's been kind of crazy. I'm a little behind on emails, but I'll get back to you within a day or two, if not that same day. And at this time, we'll just open it up on the phones. And if you have any questions, just ask away. I'm just